Teams Voice by Movius brings external voice communication into Microsoft Teams. We all know we can actually do internal communication, internal collaboration with your coworkers and your colleagues over Teams, whether it is via audio or video. But what you cannot do with Teams is call your external customers and clients.
Yeah.
What we bring is a Movius solution that enables external communication with your clients, so you can have external communication via the same interface that you're collaborating internally with.
Yeah, exactly, Chethan. And that identity or that business phone number that can be used for this communication, that becomes that Movius-powered identity, which is in the form of a phone number.
Yeah.
And now the businesses can give that to their employees, and they can be reachable
Totally.
by their clients from anywhere using the voice interface. That can be on desktop, that could be on their mobile, and the interface remains to be the Teams interface.
Exactly. Companies invest literally millions of dollars into their Microsoft ecosystem. And Teams is a central piece of communication and collaboration in that investment. The value we bring is enabling user productivity and better client engagement, right? You're collaborating internally using Teams with your coworkers. Now, by bringing external communication, not just voice, because Movius, of course, powers external communication via voice, but what we also bring is messaging capabilities, not just text messaging, but also social messaging capabilities into the same single pane of glass that you're using for internal collaboration. In doing so, we do a couple of things. One is we reduce context switches for employees so they can actually have an effective communication both internally and externally. Two, we bring significant productivity for employees because they don't have to use a different application or a different device to communicate externally. And three, for the customer, it is better service because if you're answering a customer question and you have to collaborate internally to answer that question, you can do so all from the same interface that you're using for communicating with your customer. That's really what we do, and what is unique about our solution is we bring all of those three things into a one coherent experience that the business have already invested in. So it ultimately enables businesses to get a better value out of their investment that they have made into the Microsoft ecosystem and MS Teams. To be
I
specific.
agree, Chethan, completely. You've touched on all the productivity and engagement aspects. And couple other facets to this will be this simplification ultimately leads to a lot of cost efficiencies for the business.
Totally.
Because now they can dramatically simplify their communications infrastructure with a combination of Microsoft ecosystem with the power of the Movius ecosystem. And then for a subset of the user base, if they have needs for regulatory and compliance purposes, they can also record those conversations, right? So now you've got a much simpler ecosystem. You're driving, as you rightly said, all the productivity and efficiency. And that's really the value of the solution.
And needless to say, the ability to implement a solution like this without a lot of friction is also equal because you've already deployed Microsoft Teams across your user base. You don't have to deploy another app. It's completely IT managed, so you can actually deploy it at scale without a whole lot of friction for adoption.
And you touched on a great point, Chethan, because you talked about IT and the lack of friction. Now they can actually make it available on a multitude of surfaces, right? So it could be mobile devices, it could be tablets, it could be laptops, which can become connected laptops now, and then of course other ecosystem where the Teams interface is prevalent. So it's really a great solution for the businesses, a great offering with Movius and Teams together.
Agree.
And where?
I think if you think about it, a business, for a business to thrive, they have to communicate with their customers, right? That's how businesses work. So from an applicability perspective, it is not an audacious statement when I say it applies to everyone, right? Because you are talking to anyone who talks to external customers who are on Teams can benefit from the solution, right? And the uniqueness of this solution, which separates us from the other solutions that are out there in the market, is there are plenty of solutions that enable voice communication, right? What we bring voice and messaging, the traditional text messaging and social messaging into a great singular experience. But as Amit pointed out, do so while also keeping in mind the regulatory and compliance for a subset of users who might actually have to be regulated or captured, right? So that's really what separates us from the competition that's out there, because we bring all of those three aspects of deploying a solution like this into one coherent experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if we now look at how can businesses do it, this is truly special and unique. And we genuinely believe that, because while voice, as Chethan said, has been done, bringing messaging together has not been done.
Yep.
And the other value with the Movius piece is the businesses can have their own mobile strategy, right? They can be corporate liable devices, they can have BYOD type of devices, they could even have hybrid. But with this solution, you have really removed the constraint of them having to force fit a certain type of mobile strategy. And that kind of flexibility all businesses need today because of the pace at which the world and the device ecosystem is evolving. So those are some of our differentiators.
Yeah.